the only reason I have the confidence now to talk about that publicly is because my allies, regardless of their gender and their identity, have said, we will back you if you were to go public. This is the approach you should take. This is the email that you should send.
Now.
It's public. I haven't named them.
You haven't named them. That's true.
Not yet.
That's true.
But that doesn't mean I won't. That just means I'm giving them a couple of weeks. So I don't know when this comes out, but let's see how it transpires, right?
Yeah.
In the background.
Yeah.
But, you know, mentorship, allyship, having a good network, and having people even like yourself who not only believe in you, but have followed your journey and said, hey, we see the growth is really important, because as a founder, you find yourself going down this like rabbit hole and you forget what you don't know. And you think that, oh my God, no one's watching, no one's looking, no one's reading, no one's like vibing, they don't get it. Oh my gosh, like they don't care. Everything's gonna fall apart. So you have these days where you wake up, you're like, I am on top of the world, I'm gonna smash it. And then 3 minutes later, you're like, I forgot to email that supplier. I've maybe lost that gig. Oh my God, I need to send that proposal. Oh, I need to put a reel out. Oh my God, there's an invoice I need to chase. I haven't even had breakfast yet, you know? I need to really figure that out. Or when am I gonna go on a run? There's all these like small, minute things that people don't realize. Because you don't have a routine, because you don't have a schedule, because you don't know what your priority list is. And that's kind of the most complicated thing. And me, being me, and also, you know, having a beautiful chronic migraine and ADHD brain, it's just elevated. Which in itself just makes me feel more special at times.
I think that's an amazing note to end on, Sonya.
Oh my God, we haven't finished. Stop. Really?
Yeah, we've reached the limit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I speak so much.
Nah, but it's good. It leaves room for a part 3, hopefully in a couple years' time.
Oh my God. So let me ask you a question before we end.
All right.
You have obviously seen my journey over the last 3 years, 4 years, sorry. Let me throw it back to you and say, if we do this again, let's say in another 4 years, where would you like yourself to be in that
That's
time?
a really good question. In terms of this podcast, I mean, hopefully people can see it, but I've invested a lot of time, effort, and my own money as well into growing it. You know, all this equipment is mine. This space, you know, I rent it out and things like that. Hire a team around it. So I'm very, very focused on the quality of this content now, just because the people listening have been following the journey for a while, and I feel like I kind of owe it to them because, you know, they really enjoy these sort of episodes. I want this to be the largest in the UK, if not like the world, in terms of a podcast that's focused on young entrepreneurship. There's a lot of toxic information out there, probably from what the stuff you said in terms of like, it's the forward-facing stuff of like what it's like running a business. It's the happy reels, it's the happy like TikToks of like day in the life of a business owner. Those day in the life of the business owners, I guarantee you that's not the actual day of the life.
No.
It's just like,
and also
the fun things of what it's like running a business.
And also the extra crying ones. Like if you're super crying, I've never thought of recording myself if I'm tearing up. You know what I mean?
I've seen that on LinkedIn probably every on a weekly basis these days.
Like, how do you get the confidence? How are you so brave?
I've seen that a lot these days.
But you're completely right. So the day in the life reels do not really make a lot of sense. Like some days I am doing nothing but sitting on the sofa and trying to figure out what my next step is. And some days I am running around doing 6 different things, right? So you're completely right. So you would love to in 4 years be in a space where this podcast is doing well. But if I was to come back to you and say, Sonya, I'm not asking about your business hustle. I want to know about you as a person. In 4 years, how would you like your skills, your passion, your drive, your personality to be?
I like the flexibility that this brings me. So I enjoy freedom. For me, I want to increase that in my life. So that's like number one. And also I learn a ton from people like yourself. So that's why I want to carry this on, is yes, because the views or whatever, but also because I realistically really enjoy, like, for a long time no one was watching this. Like, that's the thing.
And that's okay.
So yeah, of course it's okay, because I'm getting value from it. So I want to continue learning.
Can I tell you a secret that a lot of people won't tell you? And I truly believe this, right? Someone is always reading, someone is always listening, someone is always watching. They are. And when you believe in that, you know that your life will change. Most of my work that comes in does not come in from someone who follows me, or someone that has liked something, or that someone is even a mutual connection. It has come in through individuals that, I kid you not. So in 2020, I was named as Monkey's International Woman of the Year, based off a selfie that I posted where I was smiling. Someone liked that selfie, went and did a deep dive into me and were like, you've got a great story. In 2023, I was asked by the civil service to host one of their events, and to this day, it's been the most engaged that they've ever had. The person who found me was not connected to me. They saw something that I posted online, liked my energy, got in touch. Just yesterday, I posted a reel about a clip from my TED Talk. 2 hours later, I got a message from a marketing campaign who's working on L'Oreal on LinkedIn to say, we'd love to work with you. They didn't like, they didn't comment, they didn't share. I didn't even think they cared, right? So I love the fact that you can be honest to be like, in the beginning, nobody was relating to it.
I know. I
mean, people were,
like, but I'm obviously exaggerating.
No, but the public doesn't, right?
Yeah.
The public thinks, oh, unless you get like 1 million followers, you've made it. Absolutely not. You know, someone is always watching, reading and listening.
You're right.
You just have to be brave enough to put yourself out there that add value.
You're completely right.
We can't have any more noisy content. I'm sorry. It's just... It's tiring.
It's just noise for the sake of noise. But that's in answer to your question before. The purpose of this podcast and why I want to grow it is because I felt like there wasn't really a voice out there that sort of showed the honest stories of what it's like being a young business owner in the UK and the world. Because all the information is on like TikTok, Instagram, some like toxic corners of LinkedIn. So I feel like that's why this is my calling in terms of like showcasing stories like yours, showcasing other people's stories, because I think that otherwise it sets young people up for a lot of just like anxiety, honestly, because they compare themselves to that, and that's just not the realistic image.
I think it's a great point you've made. It doesn't say failure is really important. Failure, I think of failing like scientists think of failing, in the sense of like failing just means you're one step towards figuring out what really does work. So the quicker you fail, the better you fail. It's going to be, helpful to you. But you're completely right. A lot of social media just emphasizes and perpetuates anxiety. And as an entrepreneur and founder, you have a lot of anxiety. You're just able to manage it in a way where you are brave enough to either take a step back or, focus on your mental and physical health. I actually personally turn off social media and delete my apps. I have a different phone for the weekend, and it's not my work phone. So only 10 people have my life number, and I know that I'm reachable if they need me during the weekend. I make sure I take a whole Saturday off, which I never used to do when I first started my hustle, because I thought, oh my God, you need to work 24/7, 25/7, like you need to completely smashing it. And I do a lot of investment in traveling. So I make sure I go on at least 4 holidays a year. And at least one of them is like mega luxury. And I'm okay saying that, because that's where my money goes, right? That's my investment of time and health and effort. I don't really buy designer bags. I don't really buy like designer goods. Not because I don't need it, but because I think from an investment standpoint, it's not really adding value. It doesn't
add you happiness.
Or it's not growing in value or worth, or it doesn't, align with my version of happiness. And so online, people are like, in order for you to make it, you have to buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could, but I don't really need to, because I live in London and I'm using the tube everywhere. You know what I mean? Like that. Like you really have to think about things objectively and not kind of get caught up in your feelings.